talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Who you are. Like that's how I like to start an interview. I'll just tell people, let people know who you are. Who are you?
Alright. Peace and blessings to the multitude. I go by the name of Samori Touri. The name was blessed upon me by my chief, Master McKay. He had a Kamara. He's a spokesman for the Vice Lord Nation. And after years of studying him, studying Pan-Africanism, different schools of thoughts, he blessed me with the name Samori Touri. He was a revolutionary, military man from Ghana. Also gathered the Wasulu Nation Empire and built that up. So I embraced the fight against, oppression in Rome or the white supremacy way of thinking, the economic way of controlling us. So I was given that title to carry that on.
Damn, that's deep. I didn't know you was that deep.
Oh yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, because when I saw you on, I think I saw you on social media, I saw you put something on there that said Almighty Vice Lord Nation for a minute. I thought you was like from the land. I'm like, damn, like what was he doing? Because I kept looking at you.
I'm always in the land. Shout out to 12th Street. That's where I hail from, 12th Street. Shout out to Drake. My own sings out there, Prince Rio. I be out west with T-Money in the Holy Land, Pulaski. I be all in the land, but I won't say I don't indulge in criminal activity. But I do go see the peoples in the streets. I do go in the trenches, and I do tell them like it's a different way of life. It's a different walks that we could do. I'm glad that you're loyal to this, but they brought me here to show you a different way. You know what I mean? You can take what you're doing in that concept of hustling and take that same hustle and turn it into an economic hustle where you're buying a business. I teach brother like get the LLC, get the non-profit, get the church, whatever you want to do, but let's not your way to make your income be detrimental to your life. Because I've been locked up, and I don't want to see none of my brothers locked up like that, especially not feeding your family.
I feel that one. I feel how, Speaking on that, I know you said something about like teach. So you do like a class or something? How you teach people with the
I do financial literacy.
Financial, okay.
And it's not a one way of doing it because everybody have a different lifestyle. See, I can't, like a lot of people, they put out this program, but the program don't work. You have to deal with people individually. And see, I'd rather deal with people individually and say, what's your strong points, where your weak points at? Because if I give you a book and say read this, and I don't even know that you read it on the 5th grade level, you're not going to understand what's going in there. We start talking about all these big words and stuff. Like, what are you talking about? So I really work hand in hand with people and find out what is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is it that what is your goal? Is it to just take care of your family? Is it to leave a long lasting legacy? You trying to open up trust and you trying to buy land? Or you just trying to secure a job, and keep food on the table? Because there's different levels to literacy. Like it doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people, they buy into that, if I follow this program, I'll be rich next year. You'll lose it all. And I've lost it all plenty of times.
In this era, everybody want that get rich right away. They want that right away.
Being rich is a mind state. It's a mind frame.
You
wake up every day knowing that I'm not in need of shelter, food, and clothing. I know every day I'm going to have that. Now, if I'm going to have a Rolex and I'm going to have a drive a Jaguar, that depends on how much I learn to acquire those things. But if you never learn how to acquire and hold on to those things in a correct way, because you don't want to spend all your money on no Jaguar. You don't want to spend all your money on no jewelry. You want to use a business. You want to put that in. It's ways to move around in this white man society where you can win without selling drugs or hurting people. It's taking from people.
And that makes perfect sense because it's like, and speaking of which, like, another thing I want to ask you. So, like, how do you feel like, because a lot of that stuff, it's not even taught in schools. You know what I'm saying, with the youth. Like, do you think, like, for example, if some of this stuff about financial literacy, what you're talking about, if that was taught in schools to younger kids, I mean, how do you think their future would be? How do you feel about that?
I'm not an advocate of public schooling.
Yeah.
I think public school is just a railroad to the prison system, and it's also a way to vet out ones who they want to use in their. I have nothing against Greek societies or any people who practice fraternities or sororities. I'm a part of a fraternity myself, so I don't have nothing against it, but I do understand that it's in a selection. They want to select a certain few who they can control and use to push their message.
Wow.
And so I don't think public schooling will ever teach the masses of financial literacy. That's not for them. They just want them to work. They're looking for workers. And now public schooling, you're going to get that. I mean, not public school, private school, you're going to get that. You know, church settings, Catholic schools, they teach those individual group economics, how to navigate and manifest what you want. But in public school, hell no. And for the most part, I'd rather people just homeschool or get somebody in the community who really cares about teaching and pay everybody in the group, pay that one person. It's just like back in the day when you had that nursery or big grandma who used to watch everybody kids back in the day. She made sure everybody knew how to read. She knew how to reach everybody. It wasn't no bad kids. The baddest kids went to her, but they got straight when they went to big grandma. But you send them to these public schools, it's a nightmare.
Wow. You know what? I can agree with some things because, like, for me, one of my children I homeschool.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. Yeah, one of my children I homeschool, so I can agree on some aspects of the public school. Because from one of my children, when he was in homeschool and even private school, he learned different languages.
Right.
You know, versus in public school. So I do agree on some parts. But some people may have like an issue with that. They might say, well, if you being homeschooled, if your child being homeschooled, they may become antisocial.
No, everybody's antisocial with these cell phones now.
Yeah.
It's like nobody has friends. There ain't no kids playing outside and everything. Everything is on this phone. And we know this phone is a whole different topic, but
kids.
I don't want my children around here. I don't want those type of spirits, influences on my child. I'd rather be selective of who my child live their life with, because you got kids killing themselves. You got kids getting bullied. You got kids not liking themselves from somebody saying something to them. So if I haven't prepared, I don't think a child mind is prepared to be out there amongst so many different people without a shield. Jesus not shielding nobody. Jesus not telling nobody not to bully. But in private school settings, they tend to get rid of a lot of that nonsense and foolishness.
I mean, because the thing about private, because there's a lot of kids out there, like, I don't know if you've heard, but like, for example, in Texas, you know, a lot of private schools, you know, there's a lot of bullying going on, you know, with that private school. So kids get bullied. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you think that set like a negative image like private school?
I believe in that situation. It's funny, me and my master kid, we got to arguing about it because he said, well, why you sending your child to that school knowing that he's a minority, knowing that he's gonna get that type of pressure?
Wow.
And my argument was he has the equal opportunity to get the same education. And there we go. We always say they got a better education. We have scholars. We have brilliant minds that share the same color we do. We just don't utilize the effort to find those people and pay them. We rather just throw them in the school where we already know they got the track record, and we just give them the money and hope that our child will blend in. When you could just same money, you could have hired a private tutor. So I don't believe we're actually exercising all the options that's available to us.
Right. So I mean, at the same time, I get where you're coming from. Is some people, you know, it could be a financial situation. They may not have money to afford. Because I know for me, I mean, I think I spent maybe $500 or $600 a month, you know, for my son for private, which was well worth it because he learned a lot. he was learning like Arabic, for example.
Correct.
You know, we come from every background, you know, so he learned that in other different languages. But some people it may be like, oh, it's easier to, okay, just send them to public school and there you go, you know, and you know, which I think is, I agree with you. I think it's a setup, but some people is just for like, you know, it's easier for them to just go that route.
You gotta remember the people who actually doing this actually went to universities where they had to go to these colleges or universities where they had to blend in. They had to work with these professors. So it's the mind frame. If I can do it, then you can do it too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. I guess it's in so much of a sense. I guess it's to me it's more like a mentality thing. Like, do you want to see your child, you know, grow? How you want your child to grow? You know, that's how I would look at that situation. But I get where you're coming from, though. I see the message. I mean, I like, you know, you talking about a lot of different valid points. I can agree with certain things, you know. I'm not gonna lie. Some of my people may not view it. They may not agree with you. I'm just gonna.
I mean, that's cool.
They may not agree with, you know.
Life is all about different perspectives, and I love to hear all different perceptions.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Let's just have a conversation.
So I got a question. So I heard you saying something about real estate. You do real estate. You into real estate. So like, how do you feel about this? Because I saw a post. I think it was Tupac. He made a post back this years ago. Like, for example, we talking about schools with children, with public schools, about people. Okay, teaching children at a young age about real estate. You know, do you feel like if they would have had do you feel like the public school should have like maybe just a class for real estate, or to teach a child about that?
I have mixed emotions on that one. I look at it more as, let me not teach my child, but let me show my child. You know, let me take her out to some land.
Yeah.
Let me buy her some land. Let me show her how to survey some land. Let me show her what a deed look like.
So more hands-on.
Everything should be hands-on, other than here, read somebody else's point of view. Because once your child see that you can do it, they can do it too, and they're going to inherit it anyway. So do they even know what they inherit? Do they even know how to take care of it? Because by the time they're grown up, they're lazy. They're not going to go do all the homework and go back and do all the reading. That's how most people lose their family homes, family land, because they never really cared about how much it took to get that and maintain it. So I'm more about, you know, at a young age, my child needs to go look at land. They need to know how to survey land. They need to pick out their own plot of land as a child. I think that would leave an everlasting moment in their mind to say, you know, at 12 years old for my birthday, I got a quarter-acre land.
Wow. Well, yeah, that'd be good hands-on. Definitely is better, you know. But you know where I'm coming from. Like, so for example, like, you know, like when we went to school, and, you know, instead of going to gym class, you can go to this real estate class, you know, maybe in high school, you know what I'm saying?
But my argument is, why should my child care about real estate? They're not gonna go to class often inspired to, you know.
Just like you go to a mechanics class. I know when I went to high school, I went to mechanics. I took up mechanics.
That was dope.
You know, I took up Spanish.
That
you know
was
what
dope.
I'm saying? So it's like, if you're doing that, you can go to this down the hall to Miss Smith class at real estate, you know what I mean? And she gonna tell you everything that you gonna learn.
She could tell everything.
You know?
And you still would be in class with another 20 students that would be distracting you. You still have your cell phone, you'll be on FaceTime. A child mind has to be mentally prepared to want to receive that information and keep it and apply it to their life. When you got adults that won't even go take a free course at the library on real estate, and they got free courses there. So if the adults won't do it, how would I prepare my child? It'll just be a class. It's like art class. You don't remember everything in art class, but you took it.
Right.
You enjoyed it.
Well, that's true.
But if I tell you all the shades of the colors. You like, man.
Because people,
what's your primary colors? You like,
People don't want to, because people like to read books. People, they like to, see stuff. I'm like, I don't read, now. Which is kind of, and it's really social media that kind of, in my opinion, I think it played a role in that, People don't like to read, but I get where you're coming from, but it's like, I think that, for example, if that's etched, in my opinion, if it's etched in a child's brain at a young age,
right.
they will grow into it. You know what I'm saying? Versus, of course, they can learn it from us as parents. Of course, you won't tell your child something, but if the school is telling them something and you telling them, like it's gonna click. I think it's gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's gonna click.
But how do we get that into the schools? Because they're cutting out so many programs. If you're, especially in public school, if you're not in a what you would call an AB school with a different, because Georgia's like one of the most lowest rating schools there is. Wow. Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama. Wow. Our teachers ain't teaching no real estate. They're not teaching, really right now the focus should be on STEM, science, technology, mathematics, engineering. Real estate, yeah, you should know, but it's not gonna be life changing for the community. Because the only thing you did was buy somebody else's land. You're gonna sell it, or you're gonna put some property on it. It's not gonna change the next generation.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough because
I love STEM. I'm a big advocate of STEM. Because that's life changing. Once you learn science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, that's something that changes the world. That's how you create new ways of irrigation, of working the land, or new tools to farm the land, or that's what we need as a people.
That's like learning the trade, pretty much.
It's learning the trade and advancing the trade.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, because when I said, I guess it's similar because it's like, for example, somebody that does carpentry.
Right.
Like I got an uncle that he make floors, so in town. So yeah, I can see that. But like I can agree with what you're saying a little bit because like especially in this area, you got a lot of people that's into computers. This is a computer era. Like you said about science, these kids making money on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And doing stuff like that. So yeah, I can see that.
Especially with the AI, like I really think a lot of the masses are using AI incorrectly. They're using it to, answer questions instead of learning. You want to teach your AI different ways, and think you want to program it so smart that how you use it is beneficial to you, not informational to you.
I said okay, but the way they're using it now is more for
like Google search.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what is it? CPT chat.
Yeah.
Like that's
make a picture.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're using. I think, in my opinion, I think that AI could be like you said, it's so much far advanced.
It's way more. We're not using it correctly as a mass. We're using it for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, that's what
instead of using it to change. How can I make this program better? Show me how to make this program better. By learning it. You learn this whole program for me and show me how I can make it better. So I can sell how I make it better.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. This is 2026. You know what I mean? Like we should be far more advanced. I mean, look at China. Look at these other countries. We're supposed to be far more advanced as far as with that technology than what you just seeing here in America or in Western countries.
Correct. You
know what I'm saying? So I agree with that, but it's just like, so that's why I get into the AI thing a little bit, but I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I'm not fully. Now my kids are into it.
See, it's a couple of conscious brothers. It's right. Have you ever heard of Blue Pill, Red Pill?
Yeah.
They're part of the country. They real big on AI. They always sending me different programs. I work with them hands on. They okay, we meet downtown all like we once a month, then we go on Stone Mountain.
Yeah.
And we, do our culture thing, but they showing us how to really tap into the AI era because we're not using it correctly.
Yeah. I believe it's shut. I mean, look, you remember the movie Back to the Future, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? In 2000, around this time, we supposed to be flying cars,
They have them.
You know what I'm saying?
They have them on the market. It's just not out for sale for the masses. I'm looking at the robot legs that they have because I'm interested in buying these.
Yeah.
Because you can run miles, you can jump
I saw
20
that.
feet high. They got them.
I saw that.
I would like to jump off a building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm talking about no.
Yeah, but why not? Just jump off a building, find that who made that technology?
Yeah.
That's the question. Instead of why I want to buy it, I want to know how to make it.
I would think the Korean people, a lot of them Korean people, the Teslas, and that's who really doing that stuff.
But what black-owned company or automotive industry do we have? That's crazy.
But then it started in Detroit. It started in Detroit, right?
Well, they say it started in Detroit. But why don't we have no black people making our own vehicles?
Yeah. I think once upon a time I heard it was, but I'm not sure on that.
Why nobody even want to do that? Nobody. It doesn't even cross people's mind to say, I want to be the first person to create my own.
I saw it's somebody that did. I'm gonna Google that because it's somebody.
But we're the greatest inventors. We invented everything.
That's what I'm saying.
But they patent it, buy it from us, and
Yeah.
say, be quiet, boy. We'll take your money or we're going to steal it from you. The greatest thing that people probably saw on the internet with a dude using plastic to turn plastic into fuel.
Yeah.
And he's hiding.
I saw that.
He had to go into hiding because they were trying to take his patents and try to kill him. I hope if he's listening, God bless you, brother. Keep doing the great work.
Yeah.
But
I saw that.
that's crazy. You had the other dude, remember when Fleck had the water crisis, he went up there with his machine, pulling out the air, making free water.
Yeah, I saw
they
that.
went there, sabotaged that.
Damn. Yeah, wow.
That's science, technology, mathematics. Those are people who are using their brains to manifest something that's going to change the world.
Yeah.
Not to oppress us, but to give us something free, because all of this is supposed to be free, especially for us, because this is the land of the free.
Yeah. You right about
So
that.
they say.
You right about that. Like as far like you said, water, anything that we pay for, electricity. I mean, I can get that. But I think because this is such a it's capitalism. It's capitalism. So it's situation. That's why we got inflation and everything is going up. They say it's going up.
My son debunked that 2 months ago. He did his own report, debunked that. Yeah. It's not going up. It's the same thing. They don't. I give that science teacher. I'm gonna add that in the comments. Let him drop that in. I'll show you his channel. He goes and debunks a lot of stereotypes that people put out there about the economy, black people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He does the real research and get the numbers.
Wow. Yeah, I want to check out this page. I want to look at it. Because anything that's dope and that's positive, and they doing something, other than what we used to seeing, I'm with that, Like I literally be following people that's talking about something, like what you just said, your son. If you talk about something, I'll be unfollowing people. It ain't nothing personal, I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be unfollowing people. But yeah, that's what's up. Okay, so I know another thing you brought up too, about how do you feel about spiritual awareness? I'm curious. I like this topic because I'm also a spiritual person. My wife is too, so I'm just curious. How do you feel about that?
Spirituality.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you feel about as far as spiritual awareness when it comes to you and your wife? You know what I'm saying? You and your wife. You and your woman. Your woman. Not to say your woman.
Wow, that's a great question that you asked. How spirituality works for my wife or the women that I deal with. Sheesh. I hate to put this on camera, but I'm gonna put it on camera because we're just being real, we're sharing. In my reality, in my world, I am what we call a higher conscience. You know, and what I create, what I put out in the world, what I attract is for me. It was made by me, and it's gonna be either good or bad for me. You know what I mean? I believe in karma. So I say all that to say this. When I choose a woman and I lay down with her, she becomes my wife. Can I have multiple wives? Of course I can have multiple wives. If I'm able to care for them, treat them equally, I can do that. Now, is that the best interest of me in all times? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. I've been married over 5 times. I've had triad marriages. All my wives are still in my life in some type of capacity. But am I living in the homes with them? No.
Okay, hold on, let me stop. So, for some people that might not know, what's a triad marriage?
That's with me and 2 other women.
Okay.
We are.
You want to make that clear?
We're taking care of each other. Yeah. I'm not gonna go into what goes in the bedroom.
I guess it's all good. It's all good.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm dating a new woman for. Well, not even say dating. We have already laid in. So I have chosen a new wife, and we're in a monogamous relationship because monogamy at this stage of my life, in this phase of how I'm living, will be better. It best suits me. It best express the life that I'm looking towards to have, because when you're dealing with multiple women, you take on their spirits, you take on their attitudes, you take on their traumas, and if you can't help them heal those traumas, or you can't navigate how to make it all work, it's best to just end it and be a friend and be a guide or a financial pillar in their life until they choose somebody else to be with, of course. So, with spirituality, I tell people, you know, God is nothing to play with. You know, especially when I say God is nothing to play with, I'm talking about the black woman. The black woman is nothing to play with. She can destroy you. She can build you up. I believe the black God is the black woman. I'm one of those believers. You know, I'm not what they call monotheistic, where it's all about the man control, the man in power. We're equal. You know, I mean, we just have different roles to play. So, you know, if my wife asks me to start speaking, I'll start speaking. It's not because, you know, she tells me what to do, because, like I said, it's me talking through her to myself. You know, I look at my wife as a reflection of myself. You know, she just has the feminine diameter of the life. You know what I mean? She's that part. She's that pillar on the right side. She's my moon. I'm her sun. And sometimes I need that light. Sometimes I need that energy to, you know, humble myself. And a lot of people don't like to say it, but you have to tap into that dark feminine energy. You know what I mean? That what really balances us. Because, you know, you'll learn to lower your tone. You learn not to yell or be aggressive. I be aggressive with, I ain't gonna be aggressive with myself. So why would I be aggressive with her? I ain't gonna like her telling me what to do all the time, so why would I tell her what to do? It's a give and take, you know, it's a yin and yang, it's a balance. So I tell everybody, find somebody you can have balance with, you know, somebody that you can live with without, when we say marriage, you gotta get on a sheet of paper, write that down. We know that's all business, you know, but who you can say, this is my companion, I want to walk hand in hand with for the rest of my life. And even if we don't work out, I still would want the best for that person. That's somebody you should be choosing. So in spirituality, I think, you know, people come to us by God's design. How we use them or how we deal with them is our own personal choice. But I encourage everybody to, you know, to fear God. So fear that black woman. Don't do her wrong.
What you said about that black woman, I agree with that part for sure. So, let me ask you this. So, do you think, like, well, for some people, what are your thoughts on, like, spirituality and religion as far as with your relationship with your wife?
I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, you know, Seventh-day Adventist. I'm gonna use the word I believe in that faith. I might have a little mustard seed of faith in that, but I do believe in that faith because I see the power of that faith. My parents been married over 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been married for 40 years. Going this year. 40 years they've been married. So, and the only thing that kept them together was their faith in God and practicing that religion.
Mm-hmm.
So I see the works, I see the fruits of being a Seventh-day Adventist.
Mm-hmm.
My wife to be, or my wife that is present now, she was raised Seventh-day Adventist. Now, does she practice Seventh-day Adventist as she should by the book? Let God be the judge. You know, I'm not here to judge her, but I know that my walk in God is what causes her to look at me and say, I want to be with him. I want to follow him. I want to listen. I want somebody to pray with me and sit down and say, this is what God say, not what I say. So I think our faith in the book of the Bible is what attracted us and what maybe what holds us through the hard times and the times where we're in these disagreements.
Seventh-day Adventist, I know a little bit about it, but not too much. I'm gonna be honest. You know, it sounds somewhat similar to Islam. Some of the principles
Right.
is similar to Islam. I'm Islam. I've been Islam for my whole life.
That's
I'm Islam, but Islam. But so I'm it's like I said, everything that you describing is similar. I don't know how you guys pray and everything, but
well, I go make salat, and then after I make salat, then I go back and pray with her.
So you do. Wow. So you make salat? Really?
Yeah, I make salat first.
Wow.
I get up early before rise, and I go make my salat, and then I go read my Quran, and then I come back. You know, you have to meet people on their level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not here to force my religion on her. I'm here to be an example of the religion, to practice the faith. I submit to the will of God, or the will of Allah. So by doing that, I still have to be conscious to the fact that I'm still her teacher, because she's a student in her religion. I'm a what you call a scholar. Like, I like to read. I get all into it. So I understand Seventh-day Adventists, I understand Islam, and I understand where they can read at and where they disagree at. So where they disagree at, I leave that outside of our house. Where they agree at, and Islam never told nobody to not, get rid of people who are, we gonna say she's not, I can't call her a disbeliever because she's a believer. She's just a believer in a different faith.
Right.
So I will pray with her the way that she knows how to pray. It's not gonna hurt me. I don't think Allah is gonna, put me in hellfire for praying.
And that's what I want. Okay, so that's what I want to ask you. So how do you feel about this? So, but you have some marriages, for example, like me and my wife. Like, I'm Muslim, but my wife is Christian.
Right.
So we have two different religions, but we come together on other common goals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel? Like, how do you juggle? I don't know. Like how do you think like someone can juggle that? As far as having two different religions, and also, especially in what you just described, a 7-day Adventist, something like that.
Right. Like today, Saturday, we don't do no word. We ain't doing no foolishness. Like, I ain't clubbing, I ain't drinking, I ain't smoking. From sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, my focus is on family and God. Now my wife, she went to work today. You know what I mean? Can I tell, if I'm 7 Adventist, you can't go to work either? No. God is not a tyrant. God is not. Gave everybody free will.
Yeah.
So she has the free will to do whatever she wills, unless she's breaking one of the commandments. Now, they might say, well, working on the Sabbath is breaking the commandment. Yeah, it is for those who believe. Now, if she's not 7-day Adventist, she ain't breaking no commandment because she don't believe. Just like some people say, eating pork. That's a health message. That's an abomination. But not if you're not an Israel, like some people say, well, that was law for Israel. That wasn't for me.
That's what I was just gonna get to next. The Israelites, because what you describing is just similar to the Israelites.
Right.
So I got family that's Israelites. Just what you said, they don't. Saturdays is
no Muslim.
Saturday.
Ain't no pork.
Yeah, it's the Sabbath.
But I'm not gonna tell the next person. I'm not gonna slap it off their plate.
Well,
Because that people say, I'm not interested, give me a salad, you know, eat you please. Because at the end of the day, I have to stand before God and be counted for what I was given, what I did. And she gonna have to stand on her own.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, but I guess, I don't know, it's almost conflicted because when you marry, regardless if it's on paper or not, the man and the woman is supposed to be one. You know, so you're supposed to.
I believe both books say that the believer is not supposed to engage in the culture and practices of the person who's a non-believer. So as long as I keep practicing this, eventually they're gonna accept. They're gonna see it. They're gonna be like, this works.
Wow.
So I maybe just need to start eating it. It's gonna eventually work on it, because God gonna have to work on their heart. As long as they see you praying every day, Lord, please take that taste away from her. Lord, please help her to stop working. Please give me God gonna have a conviction on her heart to say, you know what, I love it, man, or I love, like what did she say? What did Ruth say? To I serve you because I serve your God. You remember this story of Ruth? Ruth. Who was married to Boaz, wanted to be with Boaz. Her husband had died, and she went with her Naomi to work in the fields. And she said, your God will be my God. I will follow you wherever you go. And I would take on your practice. She came from Canaanite. She did all types of pagan and all that, what you call. And her husband accepted that. He knew she was a pagan, but she was probably a bad chick. You know, she was looking good. So he was like, hey, long I don't do what she do, I'm good, but I can still get it. So, but she knew that her God had really was doing the good works. So she followed. And I look at it like that, you know. God has a mysterious way of making people look at their religion and start to, you know, see the truth in people's actions, not just the religion, not just what people say.
I can agree with that. I mean, as far as, because I think, for example, I'm Islam, but I've been in different religions, but like what you just said, I would look at other religions too. You know, since, for example, my wife that's Christian, you know, I would go to church with her. You understand? Even though I'm Islam, I went to church with her plenty of times, you know. But she never tried to, well, maybe she did try to convert me, you know, to be Christian, you know. But, so I can agree with certain parts of that. But I see where you're coming from. It's just, I guess it's, for some people it can be conflicting, you know.
I think people just get too caught up in the religion part of it instead of, you know, what is right. Because every moment is different, you know what I mean? What's right in this moment? What I do today might not be what I do tomorrow. Because sometimes I will go to church with someone, sometimes I won't.
Yeah, well.
It conflicts on what, you know, that's when you got to go to prayer. That's when you got to go consult God on these matters. Because God is a living word, He's a living voice. So it's not all black and white. People get too caught up in the black and white. And that what keeps. That's why Jesus said, you know, He is the Word. The Scripture, He didn't come to change it. He came to be the Scripture. You know, He got to be the Word. So, I'm not a Bible thumper, and I'm not an Islam thumper. I'm not gonna hit somebody in the head with the Quran. The Quran says this. The Quran says that. The Quran told me this. The Bible told you that. You know what I mean? It's for you to receive that truth, and not for me to force my truth on anybody else. And that's what really about this conflict and issue.
I mean, I think, you know, I think, in my opinion, to go on the Bible and Quran thing, it's truth in both. From what I was taught and told by my parents, it's truth in the Bible and the Quran. And people like to go back and forth with it, you know, but it's truth in both. I've read the Quran, I've read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not an expert, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna sit up there and be like, I know everything. Nah. But I got it's truth from both. I want to ask you this because another thing about the spirituality thing, why we still on that? Because, because I know you say you do like polygamy and everything when it comes to women. So I know for me, when I meet a woman, I'm more attracted now that I'm a little older. I'm more attracted to if she's a spiritual woman or not, how spiritual she is versus how religious. Because you know they say you can be religious and you can be spiritual.
Right.
So How do you feel about that? Like, if you meet a, you know, like you meet a woman, like, you know what I'm saying? She, you know.
Shout out to the black woman. The black woman is God.
For sure.
Personal experiences dealing with spiritual women versus religious women. Mm-hmm. Religious women half-ass religion. Spiritual women half-ass spirituality. Yeah. They use it when it's beneficial for themselves. Mm-hmm. If it ain't beneficial for them, then it's an emotional thing. You know, one day they might act like this, next day they won't. So just because a woman wear beads, and, you know, and she put her turban on, and she cover her hair, you know, is she really spiritually in tune? I think it's going to be half and half in both cases, because you're going to need a man to complete that. I don't think no man can be spiritually full or religiously full until he has a woman, because you have to have that opposite to show and prove that, you know, this is beneficial for the world. Because you can have all the spirituality, but who you sharing that with?
Wow.
You can have all the religion in the world, but who you sharing it with? Who's your companion?
I mean, I could agree and I could disagree, because so you feel as though, like, basically a woman and a man need each other to be whole and to be spiritual. But you got women out here that be like, you know, I don't need a man, and they go to church every day.
Spiritual.
You know.
That's anti what the whole Bible says.
But they go to church every day. Every day they get church. They pay their tithes.
The church is their husband.
You know, I've dated women, for example, who she preaches in the choir, and that's her thing. Every day she go to church, but she's a single woman. She lives alone. You know what I'm saying? But she go to church every day, every Sunday, faithfully.
Right. So she's still halfway. She's halfway there.
Well, but she, like what you just said though, she's still praying, like hoping for a man to come in her life at the same time. But I mean, I'm gonna just say this, in my opinion, with that, because I've dated women, a lot of women that are mostly Christians, you know, and from what I've dated, most women that I've dated, they go to church and that's it. Like this, they just go. It's more like a chore. You know what I'm saying?
You have it. That one day you're a full Christian.
Yeah.
But are you praying every single day? Do you wake me up in the morning and say, baby, let's pray? Do you say, let's have it? Do you lead me to Christ every day? No. No. But now on Sunday, you like, get on up, get your clothes on, because that's what you was taught.
Yeah, every day.
Now with the spiritual, on the other hand, with the spiritual women, it's, I learned this, I got these crystals, I'm doing this energy, I'm doing that energy. Okay, where do I fit in that energy?
Yes.
Let me read you. Let me read you. They can't never get what they put out. When you start telling them about themselves, hey, since you ain't really wearing that right, you ain't got to, oh nah, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, it makes them, and it empowers them to the point where now, if you're not saying what I want to hear, then you're the devil. Or you're bad energy. Right. But I posted, you gotta have conflict. You gotta have somebody who challenges the way you think, and how can you grow if you have nothing to challenge you on the way that you're acting, the way you perform.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I agree, and I think that some women do see it like that, and that's why I think they be attracted to men like that, like you said, that can challenge them. Because if it's a dude they like, oh, you ain't doing nothing, and you just, you know, they gonna see it like that. But so I can agree on certain parts of that. I think, in my opinion, like I said, a lot of women that I know can work on that. I know a lot of women that can work on that part, because I think they're more religious than spiritual.
Right.
So, yeah. To me, it's just, I don't know. It's almost I don't want to say make them feel like a hypocrite. I don't know if that sounded bad, but you know.
I was gonna say they be half-assed. You gotta relinquish some of that control. What happens?
Okay. And then like, okay, so we go. Okay, I saw you. It's something else I want to talk to you about too. So fatherhood. So I know you told us you're a father, like
Fatherhood, Fatherhood Incorporated. Fatherhood is brotherhood.
Yeah.
I love my father. God knows I love my father. Shout out William Allen Jr. and shout out William Allen Sr. You know, even though I didn't get to experience life with him, I've heard the stories, I've seen the works, the good and bad, and I'm glad that he's reincarnated himself within inside of me. I believe all my ancestors live inside of me. I'm just tuned in to that name because I know that name. I actually walked and sat on his lap and remember the stories, remember him smoking a cigar, he had a mouthful of gold teeth, he inspired me, had a big family, always took care of his family. And I think in today's time, fathers are so lonely. You know, so lonely when it comes to direction, when it comes to support, when it comes to a listening ear, that we're just out here wigging it. You know, we're out here doing the best that we can. So what the Fatherhood Incorporated is a program made by, started by Keith Bradwell. Bradwell is from New York, but he lives down here in Georgia. And what he did was he got with some football players, he got some baseball players. He's into sororities and frats and stuff, with frat brothers.
Really?
And what he did is said, you know, we got to find a way to help these fathers cope with life, because there's too many fathers out here who has nobody to talk to, nobody to lean on in times of despair. You know, we don't know nothing about what you call legitimization, co-parenting, paying child support, or even being financially stable to support. A lot of us is out there just having children, but majority are out there just having children. I believe that part. And so what we do is we ask all fathers or men who are becoming of age or thinking of becoming a father is join this cohort or this tribe or this community of men or fathers who just want to give you the same life skills, resources, and opportunities that we have. And now that, you know, you can have somebody who's a youth pastor, you can have somebody who's a pediatrician, you can have somebody who actually plays in the league. And like they would bring you and your family out and we would just bond together. It really is about bonding. And we'll have classes, it's called Cohort Warriors Academy.
It's in Atlanta?
Yes, in Atlanta. Go to fatherhoodincorporated.com, look it up. General Warriors Academy, 6-week program is done over Zoom.
I glanced over some of it. There's some of the stuff you sent me.
Yeah, 6-week classes, take those classes. And on that we're talking about is, hey, check in, how you feeling today, you know? And then we'll go over, okay, if you was in this situation, how would you handle this situation? And these are all situations that we've been through. If you don't have the money to take care of your child, and your girl being on your door and saying, I need, what would you do?
Right, yeah. So, wow, so it's like a father's advocacy.
It's father advocacy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I got an uncle that do that, but he live in New Orleans, so he been doing it since, now yeah, he older than me, but he been doing it, it's similar to what you're saying, right. So I get it. So do you work with people like single fathers? Do you work with them?
I work with them hands-on, one-on-one. I work with them in a group capacity. We got a conference in August. We'll be in Dallas. You know, just everybody flying out there just to go over new programs, new ways of reaching people, and new ways of just being a father. Like we're really happy to tell you the truth. I tell you the story. I had just got married. I got married. This was probably like 6 years ago. I just got married. I was financially stable. My business was running good. You know, I had money. I had a new home. Just purchased a new home. My wife, she had 4 daughters. 4 daughters came to my house from her past relationship. So I had 2 children. I'm taking care of the children. They are happy. And I looked left and right, and I remember my children are not here. Why are my children not here? My biological children not here.
Wow.
And I didn't want to want my children growing up seeing me raise these other children and not knowing that I cared about them. That I wanted to be in their life. But I didn't know how to communicate with their mothers. I ain't seen these children in maybe 8, 9, 10 years since my military days. These women were so pissed off with me, and they had every right to be pissed off because I was a whoremonger. I was out there doing all types of stuff, and they're like I said, don't play with black women. They're matter of fact when they're bosses. So when they say they didn't need me, they meant that. Like I won't need you.
Wow.
And they took my kids to other states. I got 2 boys in Texas and 1 daughter in South Carolina. And after we had our honeymoon and everything, I'm seeing all this, I just broke down and started crying. She's like, what you was crying for? What you crying for? I'm like, life is great, but my children are not here. It's a missing part of me. It's a void. And, it's pieces of me out there that I don't even know what's going on. And I don't know how to connect with them. And she said, just pray about it. Just pray about it. So we prayed about it, and then of course, get on that phone, and I get on Facebook. First thing pop up is Fatherhood Incorporated. Do you want to become a better father? And that led me to going into the program, the academy, learning everybody, talking to everybody. Once I got through, graduated in Morehouse. That was heart-changing to meet my kids. Flew in from all out of state. They all came and saw me for the first time. Since maybe 9. One first time in her life was the first time seeing me. My boys, they seen me, but I was in the streets and stuff, and so I lost privileges to seeing them. But I got to see all of them again. And once I saw everybody, it just changed me. I said, thank God for this program. Now I dedicate my life to working in this program because it changed me. It actually changed me that day. I made that choice, made that prayer. So I became an ambassador. I started working with them hands-on, like on payroll. And then I realized, I don't want to do this for no financial gain. I just really want to be an ambassador. And
like a non-profit almost. Well, I get it. Wow. That's deep. That's dope. Because that's like I know a few programs like that, but I'm pretty sure it's different. But I never knew that was in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool.
It's the best place you need to be at because Atlanta, we're just having kids left and right. And then you need somebody to.
The culture here is so, because even us people, we so consumed. We consumers.
Right.
Us as black people, we so consumed. And then Atlanta is like the mecca of America. You know what I'm saying? For that anyway. So I get that. That's dope. I didn't know it was that deep. I'm gonna have to go research a little bit more about y'all. I glanced to, trust me, I looked at everything that you said. I'm like, wow. I didn't know it was doing that. But that's cool because some of the programs that you like, some of the things that you speaking about. My uncle, he do some of the same similar things, but he lives in, like I said, he lives in New Orleans.
Okay.
And this man, it's called Father's Advocacy. He real popular. Like this man, he's real political. Like he's known. He damn near ran for mayor twice. He did. Ran for mayor of New Orleans twice and lost. He got death threats and everything. But he do some of the stuff that you doing. I don't know if you're in New Orleans, but I could probably link y'all up if you ever in New Orleans because he be into that type of stuff. Be trust me. I think y'all would be a really good fit. Like as far as doing something positive for like fathers. Yeah. I know myself, I asked about single parents is because years ago before I was married, I was a single parent with my son. And I remember especially when I lived in Texas, in Dallas, for example. I would say this was maybe about 10 years ago. And when I was a single parent, I was working as a correctional officer. But I was trying to find daycare or some type of child care. It was none for fathers.
Right.
They were all for mothers.
Right.
You understand? So I want us to know, like, where's a program that can help single fathers without the mother around at all.
You see, that's the purpose of the program. Because now you have a group of brothers that you know, like physically know. We go out camping. Our kids hang out. We meet once every month. So now, if my child needs somebody to watch my child, I know my child can go to this man's house and he's going to be treated just like that man's child. It's not about me having to pay him anything. That's my brother. It's a brotherhood. And that's how I love the aspect. Like if you was ever just down, like you can call brother and if he ain't got it, you know, you got 30 brothers on that line. Yeah. Somebody gonna do it. If you don't got them, you got me. And I'm gonna find somebody. If I can't do it myself, I'll go sit in your house and watch your child.
Wow. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So it's kind of like it's almost like the barter system. Like, for example, Mississippi. Mississippi, I used to live there, so it's like, you know, you do something for me, I do something for you. That's the barter system. I learned that living in the South.
Bring me a bottle home and get off.
You know what I'm saying?
Give me a case of beer and I sit up here with the kids. We'll play football, throw the ball around, no problem.
And that's what I get from Atlanta. You know, since I've been in Atlanta, like you know, it's down home. You know,
they say Southern hospitality.
Yeah, you know. So I get that. That's cool. I think it's dope. You know, it's great. You know, but I think, like I said, you know, for some people it could be, you know, it's stressful for them. They may not be like, you know, people say, I can't, you know, do this. Or, you know.
We break that down, and we really get to know each other. Like, that's why you have like me, Bragwell, Malone. Like, we really get to know each brother, and we really like we gonna lock shoulder to shoulder, and we gonna learn how to walk with them. Cause a lot of people ain't never learned or even had that type of love to come from another male. No sexual, no nothing weird like that. But like a father loves his son, we love each other. We love each other just like that.
I see what
these
you're
are my mentor. You know, I trust my life with. You know, they call me weekly, check on me, pray with me. That builds me up, man. It makes me want to give that same love back to the next person. Wow. And I've seen people change. Like, man, I was kind of iffy about this, but now I want to be full part of it.
Wow, that's dope. That's dope. Like I said, I'm a firm believer. I'm a whole supporter of stuff like that. Like, that's up my alley. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of brothers that's the same, but they in different cities. They're not just in Atlanta.
Right.
You know, they in Chicago, they in Dallas, they in Mississippi. You know, there's different little cities. So, you know, and I think that's dope. Especially like, you know, for now, you know, it's the Juneteenth and all that, doing something. And everybody just trying to do something real. You know what I'm saying? But that's cool. But yeah, but that's what's up. I think in some aspects, I think, like you said, people not like that. It's because a lot of us as men, and I would say young black men, we didn't have our fathers. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, we didn't know how to show love. We don't know how to do this. We don't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you feel about that? Because, like, I know for me, you know, my father, my parent father, he showed me positive things, but he showed me a lot of negative things too. You know what I'm saying? Which I know wasn't good for me. You know, so it's like, how do you feel about that? Like, as far as influences, you know, with the family.
I grew up in a household with a father, but my father was workaholic.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the hugs or the throw the ball in the backyard or help me ride a bike type thing. He was working. You know, my father had 7 kids, so he had to work. You know what I mean? And I knew as a child that to be a man, you had to go get some money. So I didn't get what I would say what I needed at that time growing up. So of course my father figure became my older cousins. And they had me doing everything wrong that could be wrong. Because they didn't have father figures. Because they fathers was in the streets, so they was working.
Wow.
So I grew up like that till I probably like 17, 18. And then I went off to the military. And that's when I learned a little bit of discipline, and I learned how to be cohesive with other men, and you know, learning camaraderie and bonding with other people. You know, because when you get put in hardships situations, you tend to, you know, gravitate to people that you like, and y'all can actually get through them hardships together. So once I came out the military, you know, I'm a young man. I'm like 23, 24 years old. And I have children, and I've lived a little bit, and I'm understanding, damn, it wasn't that daddy didn't like me. Daddy had 7 kids.
Wow. Well,
daddy had responsibilities.
Daddy was
kids. 30 years old.
Wow.
You know what I mean? When you're a child, you don't look at age until you be like, okay, I remember when I was in my 20s, I ain't know shit. 30s, I was just starting to know shit. So 30 with 7 kids.
That's a lot.
That's a lot to say stop. Just go throw the ball. Just go, hey man, what up? I bought you a TV. I bought you a Sega Genesis. Leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? Go play somewhere.
True. Yeah.
I ain't got time. I just work 2 jobs. I'm ready to go to sleep. But after I turned 24, I realized like, damn, Dad was actually doing the best he could. I started having compassion for what he did, because he didn't just up and leave us. He was working.
Yeah, you was young, you didn't understand. You want him to be around more. You want him to be involved in football practice or, you know, whatever he was doing at that time.
I didn't understand. So once I understood, then I started to have compassion, and then I started calling him and talking to him and being around him. Now that people fail to realize that your children will be adults way longer than they'll be children. So we get so caught up in I gotta do this for them now, while their kids do this for them. They're not gonna remember half of this stuff. They're gonna remember some things. But it's really the communication. Always be honest with them. Let them know, hey, I'm working. I might not make it and everything. But when one day, when you get older, you'll understand. They always say, when you get older, you'll understand. And so now I took time out to build that relationship. And now we have a great bond. So I think a lot of people grow up without their fathers, and they become adults and still don't have their father. That's where I find the problem. Like you gotta have compassion for your parents, just like you gotta have compassion for yourself. I've not always been there for them, but now I aspire to always be in their life in some capacity.
So do you feel like your father showed you like good, like even though you say he was working or not, do you feel like he showed you like good? What's the word? Influences? Like, do you
I
feel
think
like
he did the best we can do.
Well,
with the skills that he had.
Well, and that's good to say, because I ain't gonna say a lot of men, I'm gonna say black, but men in general, his fathers that didn't show them that, you know what I'm saying? Or they just went out around at all. You know what I'm saying?
What happened to them? What made their father be like that? They probably didn't have a father. Everything is a learned behavior. And his father was a worker. His father lived down the street with his other family and wife, while him and his mother lived down there. And the only thing he was worried that he came over there, he dropped the money off, pat everybody on the head, smoked a cigarette, and then went right back on down the street.
Wow. You learn that learned behavior word. I learned that one. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I think, like you said, it just starts at home, because what you said earlier. The father is the teacher. The father teaches the woman teaches the child. That's what Islam teaches us, tells us. So, if the father, like you said, he's working all the time, what is he teaching? If he's working, for example, my father, who's in the streets, what is he teaching me? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to go with that. And I think that's it can be good and bad, because like you said, you might do the same thing with your child.
Right.
When he gets older, you might be one that works all the time, going to work, or in the streets. You know what I mean? That's why I'm going with it. So that's why I think it's those influences. They come from that father. Believe it or not, that child is watching you. Your child is watching. I don't care. You got a little baby. They're watching you. I'm telling you, they're watching you. I did the same thing with my father. I'm telling you, I watched this man, everything he was doing. If he was in the streets doing this, if he was shooting the line, whatever he was doing,
right.
I was watching him, everything.
And that was the crack era. Like during the crack era, it affected everybody's family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's family got damaged by that. And it really destroyed a lot of families. Either the father was on crack or he was selling crack.
Yeah.
And my father, he fell victim to that disease. He lost his sister, his twin sister. He lost his sister, and it broke him. Dad was working and losing his twin sister. He fell victim to the streets, and he was really in a bad stage for 5 years. Like with my mother's prayers and her taking us up there to go see him in the VA hospital. He was in the military too, and we used to go visit him. And I was angry at him. Like, why were you coming up here to visit him? Like, you don't think he didn't work, now he on drugs, so how is he a man? How do I supposed to look at him? And I always remember that one thing we talked about earlier about that religion. They always sat there with the Bible and they prayed and prayed and prayed. And that's when I realized, you know, being a man of God is not going to always be about, you know, doing the right thing. God uses everybody. God uses anybody and everybody for his will. So me seeing all those things let me know that, you know, no matter how far in life or how low in life I might feel like I'm at, God is still there. And God has people that loves him that will show you the love that he has for you. And I think my mother's love is what really inspired him to continue to be the man and the father that he's grown to be now.
Right. So it's safe to say it's almost like I get what you followed your father's footsteps in a sense.
In so many ways we did.
You went to the military, you know, that's common. You know, that's it. Well, a lot of than what you think, because I could say I almost did the same, but once I saw what he was doing was wrong, I switched up.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I want to be on the streets. I don't want to do street stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I did. But yeah, so and that's common for any man, for any boy. I think especially as a young boy, black boy, that's out here that's growing up. So I get that, but I get what you're saying. Man, I think, like I said, I can't stress enough about that, about the fatherhood thing, because I think that we need to see more of that. You know, we need to, like, especially, I'm gonna just say here in Atlanta.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when there's more of us. You know, you see more of us everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? Us. So I think we just need to, that fatherhood thing.
Yeah. Promote it every day, get it out there. Fatherhood Incorporated.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're gonna, like I said, the fatherhood, we're gonna get you on that too, because I want people to know about that. Everything what you doing, that fatherhood thing. I think that's dope, you know. I might come check y'all out one day.
Oh, man, I'm gonna send you invites, man. You send you newsletters, everything free, man.
Yeah,
we ain't charging nobody for nothing. We don't want no money. Everything. We got our private investors, so that's why I'm teaching people about private investing. You know, we got people who actually.
All right, that donations. So y'all take donations?
We take donations, but we ain't hurting. But we ain't rich, but we're here for the people. You know, we're not. You gotta pay. A lot of people don't want. They're like, well, what I gotta pay?
I get that.
Everything free.
I ain't tripping out. Trust me, I don't mind donating stuff like that, especially something that's positive like that. That's not a problem.
I tell people donate your time.
Yeah.
Bring that energy.
I guess. That's what's up. But yeah, that's what's up. Well, we're glad to have you on the podcast. Glad to have you on here. You know, it was cool, chill, talking with you. A pleasure meeting you. You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, this was pretty good. Especially about the father thing. I'm loving it all the way. Like I support that 100%.
Appreciate that.
I support that. Yeah, so anytime, you know, we're gonna have to link up. We're gonna have to link up and do something. You know, we don't mind.